Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really dig into the key insights from your sources. Today, we're looking at something kind of surprising, actually. A trend that's significant but maybe flies under the radar a bit. You probably think youth sports are booming, right? I mean, we all know the benefits, better grades, better mental health, social skills. But here's the thing. Boys' participation. It actually been quietly declining across the board. And it's not just a small dip. It seems to be a pretty profound shift. It impacts communities, individual kids' futures.
It really is a complex picture, isn't it? When you look at the sources, you see this convergence of problems. Systemic stuff, things like rising costs, making it harder for families, these academic eligibility rules that seem to hit boys harder. And then there's this growing shortage of, well, quality coaches and just places for kids to play recreationally. It's like a perfect storm.
Exactly, a perfect storm. And that's our focus today. We're diving deep into a really ambitious project trying to tackle this head-on. It's called the No Backboard Basketball League, or NBBL. Their idea is pretty radical. They want to fundamentally reinvent basketball itself. And by doing that, they aim to address these systemic challenges using a unique mix. Sport innovation, obviously, but also Web3 technology.
Right. Web3, people talk about it as the next generation of the internet, built on blockchain, giving users more control, more ownership of their digital stuff. So the NBBL wants to blend that with community empowerment.
Okay, so our mission here for you listening is to unpack this landscape. Why are boys playing less sport? What are the real root causes? And then explore how this NBBL project is proposing a whole new model. It's not just about a different way to play basketball.
No, it's bigger than that. It promises a new way for the athletes, for creators, even fans to actually own a piece of the game. That's the really interesting part.
Okay, let's start with that decline. Before we get into solutions, why does this even matter? We need to remember why sports are so crucial for kids. The benefits are pretty undeniable, aren't they? Physically, obviously better weight, heart health, stronger muscles, bones.
Absolutely. But the mental health side is just as vital, maybe even more so now. Studies consistently show correlations between playing sports and lower rates of drug use, depression, anxiety, stress. And what's really striking, for boys who face tough childhoods, adverse experiences, the protective effect seems even stronger. It's a powerful tool.
Yeah, a really powerful tool. And then there's the social connection, right? That sense of belonging, being part of a team, learning teamwork, responsibility, feeling accepted. It's all woven in. Academically, too, you see links to higher test scores, kids thinking more about college, lower dropout rates. One detail from the sources really stood out to me. Male athletes' GPAs are often similar to female non-athletes. That really highlights the impact sports can have, doesn't it?
It does. Now, we should acknowledge, a lot of this research is correlational. It doesn't prove cause and effect definitively. But the sheer weight of evidence strongly points towards these positive outcomes. So when participation drops, it's not just a number changing. It means a generation of boys might be missing out on these foundational benefits.
Okay, so let's look at the numbers, because they are quite stark. You mentioned the gender gap in youth sports. It's narrowing. But the sources say it's largely because fewer boys are playing, not just because more girls are joining, which is also happening.
Exactly. The Sports and Fitness Industry Association, SFIA, they report a 9-point drop in boys' regular sports engagement just over the past decade. That's substantial. And the High School Youth Risk Behavior Survey, it shows a decline from a peak around 64% of boys playing in 2011 down to just 52% by 2021.
Wow, 64 down to 52. That's a big shift. Meanwhile, girls' participation has been more stable, and we absolutely should celebrate the incredible growth there since Title IX back in '72. I mean, from fewer than 300,000 girls participating to over 3.4 million instances of participation now. That's fantastic progress.
It is fantastic, but it also throws the boys' decline into sharper relief. It's not parity through universal growth. It's a shift driven partly by boys disengaging. And critically, it's not hitting all boys equally. Low-income boys are particularly affected. Only about 25% of them play sports compared to 53% of boys overall. And that gap, it's actually widened significantly since the 1970s. That's a major equity issue.
Definitely raises huge questions about equity and opportunity. So, okay, why? Why are boys playing less? The sources mention some broader ideas, right? Like increased competition from screens, something like 61% of teenage boys playing video games daily.
Yeah, that's a big one. Also, maybe a decline in just casual pickup games. Lingering effects from COVID disruptions, concerns about injuries like concussions, those are all likely factors. But the sources we looked at really zeroed in on 3 main structural barriers. Let's dig into those. First up, cost.
Right. The sheer expense.
It's honestly staggering sometimes. The average cost per child per year is cited around $4,491. Nearly half of parents say they struggle to afford it. And we've seen this shift, haven't we? Away from the more affordable local rec
Yeah,
leagues.
towards these more specialized, often very expensive club or travel teams.
Exactly. And even in public schools, you often have these pay-to-play fees now. It just adds another barrier, pricing a lot of families out
It's a
completely.
massive hurdle. Okay, barrier number 2. Academic eligibility rules, the whole no pass, no play thing.
Yeah, these are almost universal. 49 out of 50 U.S. states have policies like this, requiring minimum GPAs or passing certain courses to play sports. But the crucial point here, according to the sources, is the disproportionate impact on boys. Generally, boys tend to have slightly lower academic performance metrics.
And the numbers back that up.
They do. Boys apparently make up nearly two-thirds, 65% of students with low GPAs, defined as under 1.7. And it hits certain groups even harder. The sources specifically note the impact on Black boys, where 55% had GPAs under 1.7 and Hispanic boys at 47%.
So these rules,
Yeah.
do they even work? I mean, the idea is to incentivize academics, right?
That's the argument, yes. But the evidence is apparently quite mixed, and there's a real risk, the sources suggest, that these policies end up punishing the very students who might need the engagement and structure of sports the most. You could actually be pushing them further away from school altogether, ironically.
That's a really critical point. It sounds like a well-intentioned policy potentially having unintended negative consequences.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads into the third barrier.
Yeah.
Just not enough opportunities or guidance. The coaching shortages and recreational gaps.
Yeah, the need is huge. An estimated 81% of coaches say their community needs more coaches. And there's an interesting link here to male teachers. Men are way overrepresented in coaching roles compared to women teachers. Something like 31% of male teachers coach versus only 7% of female teachers.
So a decline in men going into teaching directly impacts the coaching pool.
It seems to contribute significantly, yes, which underscores how vital good coaches, especially male role models, can be. Despite the challenges, though, most coaches report really deep satisfaction from doing it. So the motivation is there, but we need better ways to recruit and support them and fill those gaps in recreational opportunities.
Okay, so we've got this perfect storm. Cost, academic rules, coaching and rec gaps, plus the pool of screens. Now, let's pivot. Let's talk about the proposed solution. The NBBL, Basketball the Remix, meets Web3. This whole idea started with Mark T. way back in 1998, but it took blockchain tech, adopted in 2016, to make it feasible.
Right. And the vision is pretty grand. Not just a league, but a whole niche basketball industry, an economic ecosystem for athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, with a particular focus, the sources mention, on reflecting the contributions of Black pioneers in basketball history. There's this interesting cognitive dissonance mentioned, too. People apparently grasped the benefits of playing without a backboard quickly.
But the sheer dominance of the NBA makes it hard to imagine a new league succeeding, like a David and Goliath thing.
Exactly. It creates a mental hurdle.
So what is this Basketball the Remix? How does it actually play?
It's pitched as a modern interpretation of the original game, going back to Dr. James Naismith's roots, in a way. It's 3-on-3, full court, but on a smaller court, 70 by 50 feet. And the defining feature, the U-hoops. They're 16 inches across, so 2 inches smaller than standard hoops, still 10 feet high. But crucially, no backboard. They stick out 4 feet from the baseline over what they call a three-point key, and you can attack them from 360 degrees. That changes everything about shot angles and strategy.
360 degrees, no backboard.
Right.
Okay, that is different. And the rules.
They're designed for speed and flow, borrowing from other sports, no timeouts. Ball position determines if it's out, like soccer. Subs happen on the fly, like hockey. The ball's live right after a shot, no waiting. And shots from that three-point key area are worth 3 points, and get this, they can be goaltended.
You can goaltend the three-pointer, so block it on the way down.
Yep. A unique defensive twist. And it seems players like it. The sources say over 100 athletes have tried it with great feedback, and a survey found over 80% of respondents would be keen to try playing.
Okay, interesting concept. But the big question, how does this NBBL, this remix, actually tackle those big problems we talked about? Cost, eligibility, coaching gaps. Let's start with cost barriers. How does NBBL address the $1,500 a year problem?
Well, the first angle is the hardware itself. The U-hoop is designed to be portable and, crucially, affordable. So a family could potentially set one up in their driveway, or maybe a community group could put one in a local gym. It sidesteps the need for those super expensive club fees and travel costs, at least for basic access.
Okay, cheaper equipment helps. But is that it?
No, that's just the start. The really disruptive idea is about built-in monetization. This connects to the Web3 part. Every highlight, every scrimmage, even practice drills, they can all become digital content, clipped, shared, maybe turned into NFTs, and monetized. So athletes, even kids not on the elite track, could potentially earn royalties through NIL name, image, likeness deals, and fan engagement. That money could directly offset costs for families.
Ah, so playing the game itself could generate income instead of just costing money.
Exactly. It flips that whole pay-to-play dynamic. Plus, they have community ownership models, like an NFT collection called the UHoopers Society, acting like a VIP membership. It allows families and fans to buy in at a lower cost point and become actual stakeholders, not just spectators.
That is a fundamental shift. Okay, second problem. Academic eligibility and engagement. How does a new basketball format help a kid struggling with GPA requirements?
It offers alternative pathways because recognition and even potential income are tied to highlights, content creation, and engagement within the NBBL ecosystem. It becomes less dependent solely on traditional GPA rules, which we know disproportionately affect boys. A student might be struggling in math class, but if they're creating amazing highlights or engaging content in NBBL, they can still build visibility, maybe earn some money, and stay motivated.
So it provides another avenue for validation and success outside pure academics.
Right. And there's an experiential learning piece, too. Through handling NIL deals, media creation, token royalties, athletes are engaging in real-world financial literacy. They're learning tangible skills, managing digital assets, understanding royalties, maybe using affiliate codes. It addresses that concern that no pass, no play can just disengage kids, but giving them other relevant reasons to stay involved in learning.
Interesting. Okay, third barrier. Coaching shortages and recreational gaps. How does NBBL help get more coaches and places to play?
Through decentralization, primarily. Their model suggests that anyone who owns a UHoop could potentially run local games or informal leagues. This reduces the reliance on the traditional, often bottlenecked, school coach pipeline.
So more grassroots opportunities.
Yeah, and it creates new incentives for coaches and trainers, too. The format lends itself to skill development programs. Trainers could monetize player highlights they help create, build local training businesses around the UHoop. It could attract new people, men and women, into coaching roles outside the usual structures. And longer term, their plan for a network of 100 dedicated showcase gyms would create physical spaces for regular play, offering an alternative to those high-cost travel circuits. It widens access.
Got it. And finally, there's that cultural piece competing with screens, cultural relevance and digital incentives.
This seems key to their strategy, especially for Gen Z and Alpha. The sources point out how boys are drawn to video games, to screens. NBBL leans right into that. It makes basketball as content. Every cool move, every assist, every dunk can become a shareable clip, maybe an NFT, maybe a meme.
So it integrates with the digital world instead of fighting it.
Exactly. And fans get involved, too. They can earn tokens, that John Debut token they mentioned, for watching games, sharing highlights, remixing content. It uses watch-to-earn mechanics, making engagement interactive and rewarding. It's trying to make playing and following the sport as compelling as gaming by merging the physical and digital.
Okay, this blockchain stuff can sound a bit abstract. Let's try to make it concrete with some of those user stories from the sources. First, the baller token. What is that exactly?
It's described as a soul-bound NFT. Soul-bound basically means it's non-transferable, it's permanently linked to one specific athlete. Think of it as their digital ID within the NBBL world. It verifies who they are, acts as a real-time credential for games, tracks their performance over their lifetime. And this is crucial. It acts as the key for automatically attributing royalties for any content they appear in.
Okay, so give me the example, Maya's moment.
Right. Imagine Maya, she's 17, plays in an NBBL scrimmage, gets her baller token. She makes an amazing viral-worthy play. AI automatically tags her token in the video footage. Later, some creator remixes that clip into, say, an NFT. Because her token is linked, Maya automatically receives a percentage, maybe 15% of the revenue when that NFT sells, plus potentially micropayments every time it's viewed online. And a college coach. They could look up her baller token online and see her verified game history, her highlight stats, maybe even her total earnings. It's like a dynamic digital resume.
Wow, okay. That connects the on-court action directly to potential earnings and visibility.
Yeah.
What about the content hub?
That's the engine driving all this media. It's envisioned as a decentralized platform, like a Web3 version of YouTube or Instagram, specifically for sports. It handles capturing footage, storing it, tagging it using those baller tokens, allowing users to remix content, and it automates the NFT minting and those royalty splits we talked about. Plus, it tracks views to reward engagement.
And the Zay the Creator example.
Yeah, Zay's an aspiring content creator. He uses his membership, maybe through the UHoopers Society NFT, to access editing tools on the hub. He finds Maya's highlight, remixes it, mints it as a new remix NFT. The smart contract automatically sends royalties to him, to Maya, and any other tagged players, and maybe a cut to the UHoopers Community Fund. His content gets popular, driving engagement, earning him more rewards, and trickling value back to the athletes featured. It empowers creators.
So it builds this whole media economy. You mentioned the UHoopers Society NFT. That's the membership.
Yep. It's pitched as a utility-first NFT collection, meaning owning the NFT gives you tangible benefits. Tiered access to content, perks like event tickets, maybe voting rights on certain community decisions. There are different tracks mentioned focusing on content, community, entrepreneurship, token rewards.
And the Coach Lex example.
Yeah.
How does she use it?
Coach Lex might buy a higher tier UHoopers NFT. That unlocks access to, say, licensing forms on a dashboard. She applies and gets approved to run the first all-girls NBBL-style league in her city using the official IP. Her NFT gives her a voice in governance, VIP access, and she can create and monetize content from her league. It empowers local organizers.
Okay, and the John B token? That's the actual currency.
That's the fungible token, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the everyday digital cash within the NBBL ecosystem. Fungible just means one token is interchangeable with another, unlike unique NFTs. Fans earn John B for engaging, watching, sharing, creating. Athletes might receive it as rewards or tips. And you can use it for stuff. Tipping players you like, maybe staking it to earn more rewards or unlock special access, participating in governance votes.
So Tyrone, the token earner.
He watches NBBL highlights, earns some John B. He uses a bit to tip a player he admires. Maybe he completes a challenge, like remixing a clip, earns more John B, then he stakes his tokens to get VIP access to an event or enter a raffle. It creates this cycle of engagement and reward.
And the last piece, the UHoop itself is smart. An IoT device.
Apparently so. More than just metal and net. It has embedded tech like NFC or RFID tags. This verifies the hoop's authenticity, maybe proves ownership, confirms gameplay happened on a real UHoop, and unlocks monetization features for footage recorded using it.
So Julian in his driveway game.
Right. Julian, maybe 14, gets a UHoop. He scans a QR code, activates it, maybe mints an ownership NFT for the hoop itself, unlocking an operator dashboard. He films his local 3-on-3 game. When he uploads it, the system verifies it came from a registered UHoop. That makes his footage UHoop verified, eligible for potential remixing and royalties down the line. His backyard game could actually lead to earnings.
Okay, that paints a clearer picture of how all these tech pieces fit together to create this ecosystem. So where does NBBL stand now? Is this all just theory or is it happening?
The sources say they're ready to launch. They've apparently secured some key partnerships already, mentioning names like CAA, Arizona Preps, Elevating Change, and they claim the proof of concept is done. They've generated significant organic buzz, over 2.3 million views year-to-date across social media.
Wow, 2.3 million views already.
Yeah, including one specific NIL reel that got over 900,000 views. And their audience seems to be hitting that target demo, 95% male, mostly 18-34. That's attractive to advertisers.
Okay, traction seems real. What about the money side? What are their financial goals and needs?
They're aiming for $10 million in cumulative revenue over the next 2 years, with a projected run rate of around $875,000 per month by the end of that period. Longer term, they're projecting scaling up to over $100 million annually in year 3 and beyond. Revenue drivers would be things like merchandise, those UHoopers Society memberships, and pay-per-view live streams.
Ambitious goals. What do they need to get started?
They're seeking a seed funding round of $750,000. That's intended to cover 18 months of operations, things like signing NIL brand ambassadors, producing the initial batch of UHoops, developing the smart contracts. The plan seems to be an MVP at scale over 24 months. Start by renting gym space, build momentum, and eventually establish their own 10,000 academic showcase gym facility.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've journeyed through this really concerning decline in boys' sports participation. We've looked at the barriers, costs, academics, lack of coaches and spaces, and then we've explored how this No Backboard Basketball League is proposing a pretty radical tech-infused solution. It really isn't just about changing the rules of basketball, is it? It's about building new infrastructure, new ways for kids to earn money from their talent, new forms of community ownership.
Absolutely. Stepping back, NBBL is positioning itself as much more than just another sports league. It's framed as a sports media platform, an infrastructure company, a community loyalty engine, all powered by Web3. The core idea is using this new technology to create opportunities that the traditional sports system often overlooks or can't easily provide.
So the final thought for you, our listener, what does this all mean? Could this model, this blend of physical sport, digital ownership, content creation, monetization, actually be a key? Not just to maybe reverse the decline of boys' sports,
Yeah.
but to empower a whole new generation, athletes, creators, finding purpose, maybe even building wealth through the game they love. What if the future of youth sports isn't just about playing the game, but about truly owning a piece of the action? Something to definitely think about.